Hey guys, another video for the Nature and Environment in Japan playlist. We've actually showed you a few videos before that have included some stuff on solar use in Japan, solar energy in Japan. We showed you a huge array on top of an international airport. We showed you a few cells on a fire station, emergency centre, and we've showed you on top of some commercial buildings as well on our Environment and Nature playlist. But we do get questions from people fairly regularly about the domestic use and about what's happening with solar energy in Japan, so we thought we'd cover it in a little bit more depth for you. There's actually a really serious tariff from the government where they've actually made the electricity companies buy electricity back from consumers at almost twice the normal rate. So in other words, if you have solar energy panels on your roof and you generate more power than you use, the electricity company must buy that excess power back from you at almost double the rate that you pay for your electricity. So it's a pretty good tariff, and it's been a good motivator, and it's worked. Japan actually has the third largest solar energy capacity in the world, which is pretty good, and it's also the largest manufacturer of solar energy cells in the world. Although China is starting to take a bit of the market away because of the price. China's been producing solar energy cells that are cheaper than the Japanese ones, which has actually been having a bit of a negative effect on the Japanese companies that make these. Toshiba and Sharp and a lot of electrical companies make these in Japan, and they're now finding themselves competing with China. So as you can see, about 70% of new homes have solar electrical systems on them, and those that do get right into it. As you can see, they cover every bit of roof that they can quite often. There's a house there that's gone on 2 levels with the solar panels trying to cover as much of the roof as it can. Here's another good example of that. This roof here is from corner to corner solar cells, so they've really covered as much as they could. So, like most things like this, I mean, the financial incentive's good. The cost of the average system for the average house in Japan is between about $10,000 and about $17,000. Seems to be about average. Obviously, some of these guys are spending more. There's an old house that's been retrofitted, so that's happening as well. They're appearing on older houses as well. So obviously that financial incentive is a good motivator. But Japanese people are also aware of the environmental thing. Eco is what it's called in Japan. Talking about eco is talking about the environment, environmentally friendly stuff. There's an array on top of a apartment building. So yeah, Japanese people support the eco thing. They want to try and be green as possible, so it's caught on. So here we are at the middle of a big rice field, and this used to be all rice fields, and then NTT, the phone company, has built this installation producing power, we would imagine, to power their phone system, because NTT is the big phone company, but if there was excess coming out of it, imagine they'd be getting that generous tariff back from the electricity company. So 709 kilowatts this day. This is the beginning of winter, so sun's a bit low and not super strong, but that installation seems to be working reasonably well. So this is becoming quite common around Japan to find big areas. So these used to be rice fields, they've been removed and these things have been put in instead. So fair to say, relative to the rest of the world, that solar has been a big hit in Japan. Although interestingly, the Japanese government recently has started to take a turn on it, and they're starting to head back towards wind power. So there is, and we've showed you these before, there is turbines around. A bit unfortunate this day, we had about 1 knot of wind. As you can see by the water, there was just almost no wind at all. So the turbines weren't turning, but the Japanese government's talking about swinging back towards wind power again, and talking about reducing that tariff for the solar and increasing the refeed tariff, so decreasing the amount people get back from their solar panels and increasing it on what people or companies get back on their wind systems. So that would be the Japanese government's way of pushing companies, big companies, towards wind rather than solar, which is an interesting idea. So be interesting to see what happens with that. Don't really know which direction that's going to go at the moment, but that's the way it stands at the moment anyway. Japan right into the solar energy. Good to see, isn't it? More videos coming soon.